Bessie, you might already be aware of this, but I am your soon-to-be husband's mother, and I'm here to have a word with you. And the word I plan to have with you today is regarding you wanting to become a wife in my family, aiming for the wealth we have. And after giving your plans good thought, I've come to decide that I no longer want you marrying my son. So please, leave my son alone as you go off and find a new man that is much more your style.
Huh? This is Kathy then, right? Andy's mother?
Yes, that is right. I'm sure you remember that time you came over to our house. You and I exchanged phone numbers in case we ever needed to contact one another.
Yeah, I do have memories of that. You do know that today is the day of our wedding, and you're asking me to leave your son, my fiancé, right? Can you tell me what the problem is?
And just as I said, I'm well aware that you plan to become a wife in my family, with the sole purpose of getting your hands on our wealth.
You think that I'm after your guy's wealth?
I assume that, due to your past of having a poor education, the only way to get this information across to you is by telling you straight. And you having come from a foster home means that you will cause a lot of embarrassment if you become a part of my high-class family. Hence the reason why I'm asking you to stop bothering my son with marriage. That's what this is all about. Do you understand now? Because not only is this something I want from you, but something that even Andy wants.
But you are aware that we have our wedding today, right? I haven't been trying to hide my past from you in any way either. And I'm not hiding any secret goals of mine either. I'm not saying that I'm okay with what you're asking from me right now either. But if you all really feel that way about me, please tell me this a lot sooner.
You acting as though you deserve to be told this any sooner is yet another reason we don't want you in our family. It's a clear result of your lack of any decent parenting when you were younger. If you really feel as though you deserve to know how we feel about you sooner than the day of your wedding, then maybe you should have been apologizing to us from the start. We've been waiting for a while now to hear you say sorry to all of us.
You've been waiting to hear an apology from me?
Up until today, we expected you'd be coming to us with an apology about how you are low class and were raised in a foster home, and you should have followed that with a thank you for allowing you to come into our family. And, after your thanks, told us that we are free to treat you as strictly as possible to keep you in line and turn you into a respectable wife. Had you done all of that, we wouldn't have had to tell you our true feelings on the day of your wedding. But of course, you never did do any of that. Well, it's too late for any of that now, Bessie, as I no longer want to think about your dirty blood mixing in with the perfect blood of my family.
I see. Well then, what should I be telling all the people that plan to show up to our wedding today?
We've already begun telling all of our friends and family that the wedding has been cancelled, and that you will no longer be marrying my son. So all you have to do is tell your family and friends about the news.
I'm already at the church right now, though.
Then you can tell them as they show up today for your wedding.
I see. Then I guess I have no other choice now but to do that.
Oh, it's not like that'll be a tough task for you, though, as we are all well aware you have no family and barely any friends worth inviting, so you won't have to tell many people to go home. Oh, your lack of any good family or friends is yet another point that proves you were raised poorly. My.
Connor, are you already on your way to the church? Well, unfortunately, the wedding has been cancelled, so I'd like you to start heading back home if you're already on your way.
What? Bessie? I was just talking with my CEO about how your fiancé called off the wedding with you and even the marriage, but I didn't want to believe him.
I was told that because I was raised in a foster home, they don't want me as part of their family.
Huh?
Right now, I've been talking with Andy about it. But he told me that whatever his parents decide regarding him, he cannot fight back against them.
Why the hell would he say that?
I understand that you're going to start getting upset over all this, but one thing's for sure, and that's that the wedding is canceled. I'm sorry to have to tell you this right now, but can you start helping me tell the others about the tragic news? I'm already at the church now, so anyone that doesn't get the message in time and shows up will be told by me at the front doors.
Alright. Bessie, are you alright?
I'm fine, Connor. Thanks for asking, though. Actually, after telling everyone that the wedding wasn't happening, I had a lot of things to take care of at the church, and didn't have any time to dwell on the cold truth.
Well, to think that you didn't have time to think about what had happened must be pretty nice for you, but the timing for all of that was very poor, and a lot of people were upset to hear last minute that your wedding was canceled and that their time was wasted. However, they were glad to hear all of that before getting in their cars and making the drive out, and I'm sure that you rushing to tell them all after such sad news was keeping your mind off a lot of things. But I know that deep down this all hurts a lot, and you're just trying to hide the pain now. You're that type of person after all.
Connor.
When you tell me things are fine after something like this, I know that things are actually not fine at all. But listen, even though his mom told you that the wedding was canceled today, and that she doesn't want you marrying her son, Andy still hasn't said he doesn't love you anymore, nor that he doesn't want to be with you. I'm sure he's not there with you now supporting you through this, so I'll come to you right away. You shouldn't have to be alone after your special day was ruined. So I'll be there soon and we can start talking about what'll happen next together.
All right. Thank you.
Bessie, now that you are past having the wedding cancelled, there was one important thing I forgot to mention. The reason behind this whole unfortunate event ever happening in the first place is in fact due to you being a disgraceful foster child, and therefore you'll need to pay my son a settlement for wasting his time.
I'm the one that'll have to pay a settlement?
And of course, you'll have to pay the 100% cancellation fee for the wedding since it was cancelled on the day of.
You guys were the ones that asked me to leave your son last minute. And because of that, I don't feel that I'm the one who'll need to pay anything.
Oh, so you're still going to try and fight this?
I'm not going to fight you guys on anything. I'm just telling the truth.
You really were raised with no support from any parent. It's made apparent by your lack of manners and lack of common sense. Do you understand me, though, Bessie? I'm just trying to let you know what's going to happen so that you can prepare. And there's one more thing I want to tell you about so you don't have any more incidents like today. In a society like ours, you being on the bottom rung of the ladder means you cannot fight back against what us higher class say. You being low class means that you need to try harder to be a something in this society. And that means you have to stop going after people like my family.
What do you mean by that?
I'm saying that you are nothing more than a slave to us high-class people. I shouldn't have to be explaining any of this to you in such long-winded sentences. But you did end up never having any decent education, nor any parents to teach you how to be a respectable human.
Then, let me ask you one thing before we end this conversation. If me being raised in a foster home means that I'm low class, does that mean the same for my brother, who was also raised in a foster home?
You should already know the answer to that. Oh my, it is so difficult having to talk to someone who was never properly raised by parents. I'm beginning to tire out.
Is that so? Then I suppose I'll have to pay that settlement to you guys as well as pay off the cancellation fee to the wedding organizers.
Huh? You will? I thought you'd try to fight back harder. But instead, you're acting like a respectable adult now.
I'm sorry for cutting into this conversation uninvited, but I had no choice. My name is Connor, and I'm Bessie's older brother. I never wanted to see someone talk to my sister the way you have been. And that's why after watching it go on for a few minutes, I had to take her phone from her and step in. And to try and help you understand that I'm now holding the phone, I tried surprising you by saying that I would pay the money you're asking for, as I know she never would. Sorry for being here without asking prior. From now on, I'll be the one continuing this conversation, and feel free to keep calling me Connor.
Well, even though you have stepped in to take care of business for her, it doesn't change the fact that she's a mannerless and stupid woman. And actually, you're even worse than her, considering you never bothered to come and see her fiancé's parents before the wedding to introduce yourself as her brother.
I'm sure that my sister did tell you for a while that I was overseas for work and could not be here to meet you all. Of course, if you guys had all made it clear that I needed to introduce myself before she could marry your son, I would have made an effort to come back. However, you guys would have become aware that I'm not from the same family as Bessie, and that would mean you all most likely never think of me as a brother, therefore making it meaningless for me to come see you all. I was already told by Bessie that you made it clear that you had no interest in anyone that wasn't related to her by blood.
Well, even if you guys see one another as brother and sister, without being related by blood, that is only due to you being a foster child yourself, and both growing up in that horrible foster home. That makes both of you low-class freaks in this society, and you being around to introduce yourself to us would only have made things worse. So I suppose it is a good thing you stayed away.
Now, as far as your husband and your son Andy, could you please go and tell them that I'll be the one to pay for the wedding being canceled and for the settlement?
Why should I have to be the one to tell them? They don't need to know who you are. They need to think the money is all coming from Bessie. Just pay in her name and we can put everything behind us and go our separate ways.
Well, the reason I want you to tell them that I'll be paying is none of your concern, Kathy.
Huh?
If you could just go and tell them that I'll be paying, you'll be able to find out all you need to know. And as for what happens after you tell them about me, you will only be talking to me about it, so please leave my sister out of your mess.
Connor! If you're getting this message right now, Bessie, can you please get your brother and have him reply to me?
Did your husband and son's reaction to the news finally open your eyes a little?
I'm so very sorry for what I've done earlier.
I never expected to be getting an apology from you so soon.
Well, after they told me, I had no other choice but to apologize to you right away. Who would have expected that? Who would have ever known that you'd be one of the sons of that very highly distinguished family that runs the company that works with my husband's company? In other words, the family that you were adopted into. They're the ones that run Frazier & Sons LLC and have all of that money?
Yes, they are my family. And as for the wedding between my sister and your son, my father was invited to it by your husband and son to be there, as he is one of their greatest customers. And of course, I was going to be there as well with my father, as my sister had invited me to be there on her very special day. And to keep a lot of this information private, the only one that ever knew about me being the adopted son of the CEO of Frazier & Sons LLC, my sister and I only told Andy and no one else.
Huh? My son... he knew about all of this?
Yep. And that's why, when you and your husband said that you wanted him to call things off with Bessie and cancel the wedding as well, your son was pretty upset, right?
Now that you mention it, when he was about to open his mouth to tell me something, I assumed it would be nothing important to my husband or I. And so I scolded him and said that he could not fight us on our decision. Actually, ever since we told him to leave Bessie and cancel his wedding, he's been locked up in his room, not speaking to any of us.
Is that so? And?
Huh?
When adding up both the settlement you'd like to ask for and the cancellation fees for the wedding, how much does it come out to?
That doesn't mean anything right now. If anything, we're going to be the ones paying for the cancellation fee as well as a settlement to your sister. We'll make sure that she gets the money she asked for, and that she's aware that we'll be handling all the costs. Please understand that.
Understood then. Then after today, I'd like for you all to continue talks about the settlement with a lawyer of mine, and you guys can discuss in detail what amount needs to be paid. And as for anything you'd like to say to my sister or I in the future, please go through my lawyer with what you have to say, and he'll relay the message.
Okay.
Also, as for the phone number of my sister that you currently have, I'd like you to delete it for me.
Understood.
Bessie, have you been able to get all the money from the settlement?
I think it's all in my bank account now, Connor. So this should mean everything is pretty much done with, right?
I believe so. I also heard that you and Andy were on the phone with each other recently, right?
Yeah. We both talked about how we don't see either of us being able to get back together now, but we made it clear that neither one of us holds any hard feelings toward the other.
Did he end up saying anything else?
Well, he told me that he's going to start working on breaking away from his parents, and also that after his father retires from the position of CEO, he wouldn't be taking the seat. He then ended our conversation by saying that the whole reason all of this happened between us is because he wasn't strong enough to fight his parents on the way they thought of me, and just sat there scared and weak. It looks to me like he wants to change the person he is, and wants to make himself a stronger man who isn't a puppet of his parents.
I'm still not 100% convinced that a person like him will be able to totally break free of his parents. But if he wants to become a stronger man after this, I have nothing else to say about him.
By the way, about his father, I hear that he's planning to retire now, and will be giving his position as the CEO to someone else soon?
That's right. Andy's dad said that he's not going to give the position to anyone in the family, though, as to preserve that his company be about the company itself, and not about making his family rich. So, he's making someone from outside the company the next CEO, so that there will be new ideas brought into it. And as for after that, I think Andy's dad is only going to be taking half the money he should be receiving in his retirement, and will move out to the countryside.
I see.
But of course, his wife Kathy isn't too happy about what he's doing. She's told him that if he's not willing to keep the company in the family, she's going to divorce him. Actually, she's already handed in the divorce paperwork and is on a plane right now headed back to her hometown.
Huh? So that means...
That's right. That whole family is no longer part of that company, and that spells the end to their wealth flowing in anymore. But I think that Andy's father is happy with the way he left his wife after what she'd done.
Just as my brother had told me, Kathy's husband ended up leaving his company in the hands of someone who wasn't their family and left town to move into the country. Because of that, Kathy divorced her husband and moved back to her hometown. But after only ever being a housewife to her husband from the start, and not having any work experience of her own in the current world, she had a hard time finding a job for herself. And the money she received in the divorce was only enough to carry her so far without having a job. And now she continues to whine and cry about what happened to her once high-class family. At one point, she even tried to get her son to come back to her and support her, but Andy only replied by saying that he himself was without a job. Well, that was all going on months ago, and these days, Kathy is doing a bit better, as she's found herself work in a hotel in her hometown, getting paid minimum wage for her work. She had always dreamed of being a rich woman who didn't have to do anything besides stay married to her CEO husband, but after letting that image of herself rule her, she made a huge mistake, and paid for it by losing everything. At the age she's at now, I don't expect she'll ever have a chance of going back to a life like that again. But I'd say she was never meant to be a part of the high class, as only those with manners and a proper education belong up there, and Kathy does not have either of those things. Thank you for watching and listening. We hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe. Also, feel free to leave a comment about what you thought of the story. We look forward to seeing you at the next story.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and hit the like button. See you next time.
Eliza? I'm coming back home right now.
Huh? Today you went out with your friends from back in high school to get some drinks, right?
That was the plan.
Then why are you coming home already? It's only 7 p.m. right now.
I left right in the middle of drinks, though.
What? Why would you leave your friends like that?
I was thinking that it was just men going out to have some drinks, but then they brought along some female friends of theirs. In total, there were equal amounts men to women.
Okay, and?
When I finally realized what was going on there, I noticed they were all trying to hook up and also find someone they could marry.
Is that what was going on?
They told me that it would only be us going out for drinks tonight, but they lied to me in order to get enough men together to meet with those women.
Really? So what ended up happening before you left?
Well, I told them that I couldn't stick around with them, but as I tried to leave the bar to go home, one of my friends wrapped his arm around my shoulder and kept me around a little longer. But I'm married now, so I can't be doing something like that. I also happen to be a lawyer, so being a part of something crazy is not in my books.
Oh, well, I'm glad you made that clear. Maybe some of your friends didn't realize you were married already, because those kinds of things are only meant for single people who want to get married and whatnot, right?
That's right. I feel kinda bad for leaving all my friends like that, but I made a break for it after introducing myself to their lady friends.
How were you able to get away?
After telling them who I was, I told them that I had been set up by the other guys, and that I had no reason for being at that event because I already have a wife. I then explained to everyone that I'm a lawyer now, so being a part of something that could be seen as me being unfaithful was not okay and that I needed to go home. I finished by saying that I would not be talking to any more of the women there and that they would only be talking with my friends tonight. And right before I left out the door, I told each and every one of the people there to please not call or text me if they already had my number because I would not be responding back. And then I was out of there.
Wow. At least you were being very frank about your situation.
Well, I wanted everyone there to understand that I am married and that I was not there looking for someone new to marry. However, there was one person.
Someone that didn't understand what you meant?
Yes, someone who I'd have to say was completely out of her mind. The only thing she heard out of that whole explanation was that I'm a lawyer. And so on my way out of there, she came up to me and tried to get me to cuddle with her. When I told her to go away, she ran off with the rest of her friends to the women's bathroom.
They all went together? They were most likely talking about ways to get you to fall for her.
I'm sure. But once they all went into that bathroom, I was out. And here I am, walking home from that place and never going back.
I hope that didn't burn you out too much.
Not too much. There's something I need to ask. I know that it's past dinner, but do you mind making something up for me to eat when I get home? It could be something simple and easy. If not, that's totally fine. I can throw something into the microwave and eat that.
You didn't eat anything at the bar while you were there?
Well, after what I just had to go through, there was no time for me to think about eating. Especially after that crazy girl tried to take me with her.
Fair point. Well, I'm glad you didn't end up falling into her arms then. I can make you a bowl of mac and cheese if you'd like. I have one box of that left in the pantry, so it shouldn't take me too long to make up.
That would be perfect, Eliza.
All right. Have a safe trip home now.
Thank you.
Elisa, it's been 5 years now since we last talked. I'm sure you're still as ugly as always, but how are you doing besides that? I was wondering what was causing my phone to buzz like that at this time of night. Lo and behold, it's you. That rotten little brat that thinks she can talk to me again after the way she's always treated me, my little sister. Huh? How dare you say something like that about a beauty like myself? If you were really as beautiful as you think you are, then you wouldn't be calling yourself a beauty like that. But it's no lie that I'm one of the most beautiful people around. Anyway, what did you want from me? What? All right, goodbye then. Wait! It's been 5 years now since you and I have last chatted, and you were the one texting me first, so you must have had something to talk about, right? Oh, that's right. I was so caught up in the fact that you are the ugliest woman imaginable that I totally forgot when I first started texting you again. What do you want? I'm going to be getting married here very soon. Married? I just changed rides to a handsome lawyer. Changed rides? So that means you had another boyfriend just before? You could say that. I'm very sexy, so there are an abundance of men for me to be with. I don't think there's been a day where I haven't had a man, actually. Is that so? I had been with my other boyfriend for about 3 months, and he's been working for a company making loads of money, so I'd planned on getting married to him. However, just the other day, I went to this dating party at a bar, and there I found myself the perfect man for myself, who just so happens to be hot and a stinking lawyer. I ran right up to him, trying to get him to come and cuddle with me, and from the way he reacted, I could tell he was into me. So from here, I'll be getting into the good stuff. You still have more to say? Normally, when I break up with my exes, I go ahead and introduce them to some of my other good-looking friends so that they may start dating. However, all my sexy-looking friends have boyfriends now, so I thought I'd be kind and make it your turn this time. So I'll be giving little old ugly you my boyfriend, and you can do what you want with him. And since he was dating me, consider this your one and only chance to be with someone who doesn't look like dog crap. Huh? You don't have to say no to me. I already know you are very happy to hear this from me since you've never had yourself a boyfriend before, and you're just getting up there in age to the point you might even hit menopause soon. I don't want him. What? I didn't want to tell you this because you're such a pain in the ass, but I'll have to tell you now. I'm already married. Huh? There we go. This conversation is over with now. I know you have nothing else to tell me, so goodbye. Huh? My uglier-than-crap older sister is married? And before a beauty like me? What a dang lie that is. Rio, my name is Alicia.
What? You're Alicia? Oh, God.
That's right. I'm the one you were with at that party a little while back.
I never told you my phone number, though.
When I asked one of your old friends from high school about you, he gave me your phone number. He also told me about the law firm you're currently working at.
Seriously, what the hell does that asshole think he's doing?
Well, that's why I'm able to talk with you right now. How about you and I go on a date?
What? Hell no, why would I go on a date with you?
Well, because you and I are boyfriend and girlfriend now.
Huh?
So that means later tonight, let's you and me find a cute hotel to go stay at and go from being two different people to one.
No freaking way I'm doing that. How about you stop talking to me and I delete this conversation?
I'm not joking around right now. I want to take you to a hotel tonight to make love.
Well, I don't want to have anything to do with you, and I don't ever remember you and I becoming a couple like you're saying.
You don't have to keep trying to play games with me like that, you know.
When I introduced myself to all of you that night, I told you that I'm married, right? I was lied to and told that I'd just be meeting up with some of my friends that night when it was really some sort of a dating party, hookup party, speed dating party, whatever the heck it was. I don't want anyone right now because I already have a wife who I love.
Oh, come on now, Rio. That little marriage of yours can easily be broken in order for you and I to become one.
Shut the hell up! I do not want a damn thing to do with you.
You'll be getting out of work here soon, right? I'm at the restaurant right next door to the law firm waiting for you, okay?
I'm not at the law firm today, so thank God for that.
What?
I'm about to arrive at my house right now where my wife is.
Wait, Rio?
See ya. This is not good. This is screwed up.
Rio? What's going on? What's happened? Did something happen to you today at work?
That crazy girl I was talking to you about before from that party, she just started texting me.
What?
She even found out about where I work. My stupid friend from back in high school told her everything about me, like my number and my workplace.
What?
I thought I made it so clear that night that I'm a married man. Maybe she just doesn't understand what that means?
Just in case, can I ask what her name is?
She said her name is Alicia.
Alicia? Oh,
Do you know her?
boy. As long as she's not someone else that shares the same name, she's my little sister.
What? Is she the one you've told me about before? The one who's always whoring around with different men and thinks she's the cream of the crop when it comes to being beautiful, but is really just a bother for everyone? She also happens to hate you a lot, and when your parents got a divorce, she took that chance to run off and never really come back?
That's her.
No freaking way. Now that I think about it, she seems just like the little sister you told me about. It's just been so long since you told me about her and her name that I totally forgot.
Actually, yesterday I was texted by her for the first time in 5 years. She was talking about how at a recent party at this bar she met a really handsome lawyer and said that he was really into her.
Huh? If she's talking about me, I told her to screw off before I left.
Did she say that you were just trying to be cool?
She did.
Knowing her, she lives in some kind of a fantasy land where everything she wants to happen happens, even if it's not reality.
So she's delusional, is what you're saying? As a lawyer, I've seen all kinds of people in my life, but nobody as screwed in the head as she is.
You're almost home now, aren't you? So, you want me to come to you and we can go out and get a drink?
That would be awesome.
Hey, Alyssa! I'd like to send my ex over to your house now, so could you please give me your address? You're still thinking about that? I told you already that I'm married. All right now, Lisa. I am asking you to please take this guy off my hands for me. It seems that I was his first ever girlfriend, and he keeps saying that if we break up now, he's going to have to start all over again looking for a partner, and he doesn't know if he can do it. He keeps saying that to me over and over and won't just leave me alone. I've already started going out with my lawyer boyfriend now, so if this guy continues to bother me by not leaving my side, I'm going to have to commit some crimes or something. That's why I have told him today that I promised to introduce him to my older sister. Listen, Alicia, that lawyer boyfriend that you keep talking about? Oh, him! His name is Rio, by the way. Stop calling my husband your dang boyfriend, all right? What? Rio, he's at a loss for words right now because of how much you've bothered him so far. He told you once already to screw off, yet you continue to call him your boyfriend. Huh? And when he found out that you'd been sitting at a restaurant right next to the place he works at, he told me all about you, and now we're heading out to relax a little. What? I heard that Rio was married from some other people, but his wife just so happens to be you? That's right. Before I got married to Rio, he and I were working for the same office. In other words, our love started to happen inside the workplace. Huh? You're going to start lying to me again? There's no way in hell an ugly old hag like you would ever be married when you've never even had a boyfriend in your life before. Huh? That's the picture of Rio and I at our wedding 2 years ago. If you still don't want to believe what I'm saying, then try talking to one of your other family members for once and asking them about this. They all know that I got married to Rio because they were all there at my wedding. No way. That's not good for me. Not good for you? How so? I just told you about my ex, right? He told me that he will not leave me unless I introduce him to my sister. Can't you just introduce him to some random girl and say she's your sister? I can't. He doesn't want things to totally end between us, so he's saying the only way he'll leave me alone is if I can get him with one of my family members. He said as long as he became a part of my family, he'd leave me. From what it sounds like to me, he's still in love with you and would still want to be with you even after getting married to someone else. And it almost seems like you feel the same way about him. I don't care what you think about this. I just want him gone for the time being. That's why I told him that I'd introduce him to you. But now I've had to hear that you and Rio are married. This is the worst thing that could ever be happening to me. Are you not able to just marry that man you're with now? What? Oh, great point. He might not be a lawyer like Rio is, but he's still making some great money. And he is madly in love with me, to the point I know he'd never stop spoiling me. All right, I'll marry him then. Now that I have my new plan, I'm going to take him with me and hand in our marriage forms at the courthouse. Bye-bye. Jesus. Alyssa, please help me. Alicia? What is it now? I got back with that ex of mine and married him. I thought that he was still decently wealthy, but when I got home with him, I found out that he is terrible at saving money and spends it all the time. He just asked me to start helping him pay off some of his debt because he found out that I work at a strip club. He said that if I don't help him, he's going to divorce me for never telling him about my line of work. Don't tell me. You would like to get my husband's help with your situation because he's a lawyer? No, because that would require me to spend some money. That's why I'm asking for you to help me. Huh? You worked at the same office as him before, which means you have to know a thing or two about being a lawyer, right? Oh, and since you are my older sister, I'd like you to not charge me for the help. I was nothing more than a secretary there. I could never help you out with any legal troubles you're in now. What? I am really fed up with your crap, Alicia. Alyssa? If you ever turn up around my husband or I, we're calling the police. The police? Don't ever talk to us again. I had a lot that I wanted to say to that little idiot, but because of the risk associated with talking to her any longer, I just went the other direction and cut ties. She tried to call me again and again the next day, from sunrise until sunset, so I finally did what I should have done so long ago and blocked her. And it was not just me who blocked her, but Rio as well, and the rest of my family who didn't want anything to do with her either. After that, Rio and I got back to the lives we were living before my sister came crashing into it, and we are so happy things didn't end up worse because of her. As for the man that Alicia ended up marrying, things started to become more and more clear about him. Not only was he in a lot of debt, but he hadn't been paying the rent on the place those two were living for months. He also had a serious problem with cleaning up after himself and would always make Alicia do it for him, to the point where he'd even throw his trash at her to take care of. And not even another month had passed before the police finally showed up at their door, asking both him and Alicia to leave the apartment and pay off all the rent that was due on the place, as they were both being evicted. Neither one of them could pay, so they were both forced to take out yet another loan and use that to pay the landlord before they were both told to leave the premise for good. This left the both of them with nowhere else to go, as all of Alicia's family had blocked her, and her friends would not let her come stay with them. So her husband made the final call and told her that they'd need to move back home to his parents' house and live with them until they could pay off all of his debt. He tried to ask his parents after moving in to help him out, but they both told him no and said that he was responsible for his own financial issues, as they were already doing more than enough by letting him and Alicia stay with them. And not only were his parents not going to help with his debt, but Alicia started to be bullied by his mother, and he did nothing to stop his mother from attacking his wife. The life of living with zero cares at all that Alicia had took a 180 and plunged her into a life where she was not allowed to do anything anymore. And if things weren't bad enough for her already, she only started to make them worse after she completely cracked under all the stress at her husband's family home, by calling her mother-in-law ugly and telling her father-in-law to leave his wife and take her with him. But before that got anywhere, both of her in-laws sent her to the hospital thinking she'd completely lost her mind, and there the psychiatrist noted that there was something seriously wrong with her and had her admitted into the mental ward. She's been there for months now and will soon be getting divorced by her husband and will be left to her psychiatrist, who will decide what to do with her afterwards. Thank you for watching and listening. We hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe. Also, feel free to leave a comment about what you thought of the story. We look forward to seeing you at the next story.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and hit the like button. See you next time.
Man, I am so nervous. I never thought that I'd be shaking this badly.
Come on now, Gwen. Why are you getting all nervous about this again?
Zane, you have to understand why I'm like this, right? This weekend I'm finally going with you to see your parents when we talk to them about getting married. And that's not even the thing that's got me this nervous. It's the fact that you are 26 years old right now and you are going to be getting married to me, who is 10 years older than you. That's going to be a massive hurdle we're going to have to talk about with your family. And what's really put the cherry on top of this anxiety cake is the fact that your sister is going to be showing up to see me last minute.
I guess that would all be stuff to get nervous about. Especially my sister wanting to show up to see you now. I wonder what she has planned for you this time.
All I can think about is that first time I ran into her on accident out in public and she screamed that I was the cougar trying to get with her older brother. And then she chucked her latte at me before running away in the other direction.
And like I've said 1,000 times before, I'm really, really sorry about that.
Well, I'm over all of that now.
You always have been really good at forgetting things over time.
I never said I forgot about what she did to me, Zane. Just, I don't feel as upset about it like I used to.
I know. And after that happened to you, I went and had a talk with my sister about how I was the one who confessed my feelings to you and had to win you over as my girlfriend.
But it's not like that changed her way of thinking about me, right?
Then what do you want to do about her? You gonna rethink marrying me now or something?
What? I would never rethink marrying the man I've come to love so much.
Thank God. I've told you this before, but when it comes to my parents, my mom is a whopping 11 years older than my dad. Which means that to them, you being 10 years older than me should be just fine, and they won't be questioning a thing about our love. That doesn't mean that my sister is ever going to accept things and will most likely always want to be a little jerk when she's around you. So just know that after we've gotten married, you don't ever have to be around my little sister again.
And I most likely never will want to be around her again, but is that really okay?
To be honest with you, I'm getting tired of having to hear about her crap too. It also sounds like she has a boyfriend of her own now that she's thinking about getting married someday. So if they end up getting married in the next couple of years, she should be moving out of my parents' place and hopefully really far away from us.
I see. Well, even if she does move away and I never really have to deal with her, we'll still all be family, so eventually I'll have to see her again. So I hope this time, when I come over to talk with your parents some, her and I can come to an understanding.
I'm sorry that you have to be so worried about her. But thank you for trying your best with her.
I'm sorry. Do you mind if we end this conversation here? I have to go and see my little brother now.
Now that I think about it, today is the day. He's moving out of his dormitory and into an apartment closer to us, right?
That's right. I heard from him that he's planning on having his girlfriend move in with him soon as well.
Oh, well, that's wonderful to hear. Is there anything you need my help with? Carrying heavy boxes or anything?
Thank you for asking, but I think we'll be okay. He already asked for a moving company to help with his things, so they'll be loading all of his things up for him, bringing them up to his apartment, and then unloading all of them for him. The only reason I'm really going out to see him is because my mom asked me to go and make sure everything goes smoothly for him.
Oh, is that right?
Well, I'm going to start driving out to see him.
All right. Be careful. And tell your brother I say hi.
Zane, I'm on the bus right now, heading over.
Thanks for letting me know. You should be getting to the bus stop near my parents' place in another 30 minutes or so, correct? I'll head over there and come get you when it gets closer to 10:45.
All right. Thank you, Zane. Oh, that's right. I wanted to tell you I'm with my brother right now.
Wait, your little brother is coming?
He told me that today he'd be leaving from the airport that's close to your parents' house for a small business trip, so he wanted to ride along with me. Also, he did just move closer to us this week, so he'd like to see you again before he has to leave. He promises to make things quick and not interrupt our plans, so if it's all right with you, maybe the both of you can chat for a couple of minutes before we head back to your parents' house?
Sounds good. I guess it's been a long time since I last talked with him, and since this will be my first time seeing him in person, I should get out of my car and introduce myself again.
Thank you, Zane. And by the way, right now, my heart is racing so much.
You'll be all right today, Gwen, so please, calm down just a little.
That serves you right. I will not let an old hag who is 10 years older than my brother have him. As long as I am still breathing and around my brother, I will not allow you and him to get married. But it's not like you're going to want to marry him anymore after what I've just gone and done to you, right? By the way, what the heck do you think you're doing calling the ambulance after taking one light punch like that to the head? Are you trying to be overdramatic now? Anyway, that was the last time you will ever be allowed near my family. Now get as far away from my family and I as you can. And don't you ever even think about coming back here. Are you Zane's little sister then? Demi, was it? Well, look who's finally started to respond to me. My head is pounding and I am very dizzy right now, but there is one thing I want to say to you. Oh, what's that? Tomorrow, you are going to regret everything. So that's the kind of thing losers like you have to say? I was just defending my brother from some old cougar that was trying to force him into marrying her. So there's no way I'm going to start regretting what I've done to save my family tomorrow.
Yo, Demi. I was only away from the room for a couple of minutes. And actually, how do you even have Gwen's phone number?
In order to finish her off today, I took a look at your phone in order to get her contact information from it.
Why the hell would you do that?
Because had I not gone and taken care of her today, you would have been taken away from me by that old cougar, and that would have been the end of you. The only woman that I will allow to be my older brother's wife are women who are both younger than you and cute. Anyone else, and I will not let myself sit quietly by as you sell your good looks and great furniture for such a cheap price.
Who the hell said you were in charge of who I get to marry?
Me, because they will become my sister-in-law. I want you to marry someone that I can call my sister and not be embarrassed by when we're seen walking together in public.
That's your reasoning?
Also, all I did was give her one good punch to her head. So why the heck did you all have to call an ambulance for her and make a huge deal out of this?
Huh? Did you now even notice what happened to her after that?
What happened?
After you punched her in the head, she fell backwards and smacked the back of her head on the corner of that shelf.
What?
Did you not see the amount of freaking blood that was gushing out of the back of her head?
There was blood?
She's had to get 7 stitches in the back of her damn head now after what you did.
What? You're kidding, right?
And that's not even the worst of it, because she's also suffered a fractured skull now and will undergo further testing to make sure there's no major trauma to her brain. Also, where you punched her on the chin, it caused her to slam her teeth together, breaking 2 of them and splitting open the inside of her mouth.
Zane, I didn't mean to do all of that to her.
I will not let you get away with that crap this time.
I didn't think things would get out of hand that quickly.
And there's one other thing I have to tell you now.
What?
No, that's not something I should be having to tell you right now. In a little bit, you're going to be getting a call or text from your boyfriend, and that's when you'll hear what else has to be said. I hope you're ready for when that comes.
What? My boyfriend? Why would my boyfriend have anything to do with this? Hey, Gwen, why are you... What the hell is going on here? Do you hold some kind of a grudge against me now or something? What is it? My freaking boyfriend. He's your younger brother? This is the first time I've ever heard anything about this. You went and deceived me, didn't you? You are a freaking jerk. Why would that be something you'd think? You are wanting to marry my brother so badly that you've gone and forced your own little brother to have a relationship with me. Would you stop having those extremely stupid delusions about me? But Zane and I only just found out about my little brother being your boyfriend yesterday. Huh? Just yesterday? Just before I had come over to your parents' house yesterday to talk with them about us getting married, my brother said that he wanted to meet with your brother in person, and so he rode the same bus as me and talked with your brother before we parted ways. It was then that Zane said to me that my brother was the same man you'd always been showing your brother pictures of and bragging about. That was the moment all three of us learned that my brother's girlfriend is you. No way. I'm in the same boat as you right now, thinking something like that cannot be. But this is a small world after all, and things like this can happen. This is not the time for you to be saying something so easygoing. He left me. That's what I assumed would happen. He just told me he got off the phone with you a second ago, saying that he was breaking up with you. My brother just arrived at the hospital a little bit ago, just before he was going to be leaving on his plane for work. And he's been by my side ever since, making sure I'm doing okay. He and Zane have both been here with me, and they've both been talking about everything that ended up happening yesterday. Seriously? I'm sure you don't need to be hearing this from me, but after what you did, I'd find it surprising if he hadn't broken up with you. You can understand why, right, Demi? But I didn't know anything about this. Had I known that you were my boyfriend's older sister, I would have never done something like punch you. I'm sorry to say, but that's not even close to the extent of your problems now. Huh? You shouldn't be punching people like that, no matter who they are to you. You are old enough now where you should be able to understand that, right? But you don't, and that's why you ended up punching me in the head. No way, all of this. My brother was being so nice to me by never saying anything to me when I bragged about my boyfriend. I had been looking everywhere for a man like your brother because I wanted someone just like my brother. I had finally found the king I'd been looking for so long. And my brother was the same way, thinking he had finally found the woman he wanted to have a very serious relationship with. That's why this time, after seeing the kind of person you really are, he will not be giving you a second chance. What the heck? You talk like you know everything and anything.
Gwen! Congratulations on finally being released from that hospital.
Thank you, Zane.
Hey, are you sure it's all right that I don't come out to see you right now? You still got those stitches in your head and you're only just recovering from your concussion, right?
I know, but my brother and my mom are here with me and will be taking me home. And you have a lot on your plate there right now, correct?
I suppose so. I know that you chose not to proceed with having the police get involved in all of this, but that doesn't mean that I'm going to be forgiving her any. I'll make sure she pays you for all your medical bills and the damages she caused to your head.
Good. I'd really appreciate that.
This hasn't even been the first time my sister's caused trouble like this. My parents have both been spoiling the hell out of her and never punished her for anything. But now they seem to have learned their lesson. So at the moment, they're talking with one of their friends who runs an offshore crabbing industry and seeing if maybe he'd take her.
An offshore crabbing industry? I've heard about crabbing, but what do you mean by it being offshore? Isn't all crabbing done on boats?
Not all of them, especially in this part of the state. However, my parents' friend runs a fleet of boats that are away from land for weeks at a time, fishing for crab, and he hires a lot of delinquents in order to try and turn their lives around. And considering my sister's a major delinquent, so that's where my parents want her to go and have her terrible attitude beat out of her.
Oh, well, that sounds like a great time for her.
So after what's happened to you because of her, it sounds like their friend will be more than happy to take her from us and turn her life around. And at the very least, even if she still doesn't learn her lesson after working out there in the middle of the ocean, she'll at least never have the chance of coming back into your life.
All right, I really hope so. So once she's gone, can I come back to see your parents and talk about getting married?
Gwen. You were assaulted by my sister and almost received some very traumatic brain damage, yet you still want to be married to me? Thank you.
Zane, thank you for having always wanted to be married to me, even with our age difference in mind. I look forward to being your wife.
And I look forward to being your husband.
Zane! I was just forced into a white van and am not being let out. One of them said I need to get to the harbor and on board their boat as soon as possible, but they won't tell me why. Why am I being taken away to some boat? And why haven't they taken my phone away or anything? Is this what Dad was talking about when he said I'd learn to love the taste and smell of the sea? Why can't I just stay home with Mom and Dad and do the chores there? I need to hurry up and find myself a new boyfriend to make my husband, or else it'll be too late for me. Zane, listen to me. Demi's dream was to always marry a man with a lot of money and a really good complexion, so that she could be a housewife and always have someone to brag about. In other words, she wanted a life where she didn't have to do anything besides spend his money, while also feeling like she was special. But after her world came crashing down due to her immaturity and lack of understanding, she's now had her fate sealed working for a very tough company. Right now, she's living aboard a crabbing boat called the Slippery Nipple, where she is surrounded by a crew of men that range from being ex-convicts to those who never bettered themselves in any way and wound up there. And since she's the only female on board that boat, I am not too sure there will be anyone stopping those men from having their way with her. As for myself, I was finally able to sit down and talk with Zane's parents again, where we planned out our wedding and everything. Then, a few weeks after that, I was able to go back into the hospital where I had one more scan done on my head. And when they found that my skull had been healed up, they took out the staples and let me go. That day, I was also able to pay off all my hospital bills with the money Demi's parents had given me from her, and using the rest of the money she was forced to give me for the damages, I started paying for part of our wedding. And after 6 months had gone by, Zane and I officially got married and had the wedding. Of course, nobody invited Demi to the wedding, but it's not like she would have been able to come anyway, unless she was willing to swim all the way back into shore in her drenched butt to the wedding. Thank you for watching and listening. We hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe. Also, feel free to leave a comment about what you thought of the story. We look forward to seeing you at the next story.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and hit the like button. See you next time.
Chase, I'm sorry for asking this while we're in the middle of this family vacation, but this morning, can I go somewhere else for the day?
What? Where are you looking to go, Heidi? Aren't you already out taking a walk by yourself?
Yes, I am. I just walked all the way down to the train station out here, and here I ran into one of my old friends by coincidence.
Oh, I suppose things like that do sometimes happen.
They're staying at a resort nearby to here as well. And they just asked me to go on a day trip with them today to some of the local hot springs that are around this area. So if you're all right with it, I'd like to go with my friend today so that we can catch up with one another while enjoying this part of the country. It's been 10 years now since we've last met, so it would be nice to talk more.
I see. I'm sure you guys won't be seeing one another again for some time after this, so please go with them.
Awesome. Then I'm going to head out with them now. I'm sorry for asking about this out of nowhere, so please take good care of Kiki for today.
Sure thing. Have a fun time with your friend. Heidi? I already told you this morning, but after I get out of work today, I'm gonna head over to my sister's house to drop off the gifts we got for them during our little trip, so I'm not gonna be home until later tonight. I'll be staying over there with them until after we've had dinner, and then I'll start heading home. Hey, can't you at least respond to me with something today? How long are you gonna keep ignoring all of my texts? It's been a week now, Heidi. Ever since we got back from our family vacation, you've been completely ignoring me. I can see that you're still giving Kiki some attention, but when it comes to me, you act like I'm not even around you. I was asked by Kiki this morning while taking her to preschool what happened to you, and If you continue to act this way around me, as Kiki's parents, she's going to grow more and more worried about us, and that's not a good thing for a young child to have to experience. If there's something I've done wrong that's gonna upset you, you need to tell me. If you don't, I'm never going to understand what I've done wrong or what's happened to you. So would you please give me an idea about what's going on here? Why have you been ignoring me for a whole week now? I can see that you're leaving all my texts on read right now, which means you know how I feel about you ignoring me.
Chase, thank you so much for bringing over those gifts for us from your recent family vacation. You really know just what to get everyone. This thing that you got me, this figure, it goes really well with all the rest of my decorations in our lounge room. And of course, we have all been enjoying these jerkies that you got for us.
I'm so happy to hear that you're all happy about the gifts we brought home.
By the way, Chase, when you came over here just a little bit ago, you didn't seem to be doing all that great. Did something happen to you after coming back from that trip?
Oh, so you could tell that something was up then?
I sure could. You looked so down about something, which made it seem almost like you hadn't just taken a vacation with your family at all. I thought you would have been a little more refreshed and happy about that little trip.
I see. You are my sister after all, so there was no hiding my feelings from you.
You need to tell me what's going on right now. I'd like to help you get over whatever troubles you're having.
Thank you, Serena. Now, to tell you the truth about what happened, ever since we all got back from that family vacation, Heidi has been acting very weird.
Can you give me a little more information there?
Well, she's been ignoring me completely for the past week.
She has been? Do you know why she is?
If I knew the reason why, then I probably wouldn't be as upset about things as I am. But anyway, the thing I'm most worried about right now is Kiki and the effects Heidi ignoring me might have on her. Also, this past week, Heidi hasn't really been helping out with any of the chores inside the house. She's still taking care of Kiki when she has the chance to, but besides that, she's not really doing anything. Heidi has really been ignoring me and anything that has to do with me all week long besides Kiki.
Kiki is 5 years old now, right? When kids get to that age, they tend to become really aware of their parents' actions and start to take after them.
If I've done something wrong, I'd really like to know about it so that I can apologize. But I have no clue what I've done, if I've done anything at all. So if Heidi is waiting on me to apologize to her for something, it's never going to happen.
Well, that's a very good point. So there isn't anything you can remember from the trip or right after coming home from that trip that might have upset her? I think if she started to ignore you right after that trip, then that means something had to have happened during or right after all of that.
Huh.
For example, was there a time where Heidi was just trying to find alone time and just kind of walked away from you and Kiki for a bit?
What?
Did something like that happen? Her going off by herself for a bit without the rest of you?
That did happen, yes, but she made sure to tell me she was going off by herself first. However, she wasn't alone then because she told me that she ran into one of her old friends who she hadn't seen for 10 years and wanted to know if it was okay to spend the day with them. So I said okay to that.
An old friend of hers. Were they a man or a woman?
What?
She didn't spend the whole day with a man, right?
Actually, I never asked her who they were, and she never said him or her when speaking about them with me. I guess I just assumed they were a woman at the time, but... There's no way, right?
Well, I was just asking if they were a man or a woman, so we're not sure yet who they really were. I'd really like to know now, though, after what you've told me.
But dang it, a man.
What? Do you remember something about her being with a man that day?
No, I'm not sure if this has anything to do with that friend she was hanging out with that day.
Tell me what you're thinking.
This is something that happened before her and I even started to date, but back then she had been really good friends with this other guy from her class, and they were always hanging out with one another. At one point, that man approached her about starting a relationship, but it never got anywhere because soon after that, he had to move away due to his parents' jobs. That happened around 10 years ago. So I was just thinking that perhaps he was the friend that she ran into? But that might not be the case at all. That just popped into my head as you were talking about what might have happened.
Oh? Both you and Heidi went to the same middle and high school together, right? So I can totally understand why you know so much about the other friends she had been with then and about how she had that small relationship with the other guy before dating you.
Well, back then, her and I weren't really that close to one another, and we only started to really talk to one another after graduating from high school. We met at a small reunion, and that's where things really kicked off. She was sitting next to me during dinner at the reunion, and her phone was dying, but she had forgot her portable charger. So she asked to borrow mine, and that's when we got to talking.
Did she choose to sit next to you then, or was the seating assigned by reservation?
We were at a buffet, so we chose to sit wherever we wanted. Originally, I think one of her friends was sitting at the same table as me, and that's why she came over and joined us to eat.
Oh, I see. What about those friends of yours? Where are they now?
I have no idea now. I don't think Heidi was that close to them either, so the only times we've ever really seen them was at one or two other class reunions.
Well, we can leave that all for now. First, we just need to find out what the reason is for Heidi ignoring you. If you'd like, you can leave Heidi with me, and I can try to find out what's been going on with her ever since you all got back from vacation.
Wait, is that really okay with you?
I'm not the most free person in the world right now, but I think I can take some time to look into her for you.
But
I understand that you don't want to do this to your own wife because you don't want to think she's done anything wrong. But remember that the longer you and Heidi are at odds, the worse the outcome could be for Kiki in the future.
well, that's true.
Then please let me help you here.
All right, thank you so much for helping me, Serena.
Heidi, hello! What? Hi, Serena. Good evening, actually. It's been a long time since you and I last talked. Now that you mention it, it has been close to 2 years now since the last time we chatted. That's right. You ended up getting remarried, and then you moved out of town, and since then we've never really had a chance to meet. Anyway, what did you want to talk about? Right, this isn't anything important, though. I just saw you going into a hotel today with another man around lunchtime or so. What? Could that have been your boyfriend or something? Oh, I haven't spoken to my little brother about anything yet, so don't be too worried. What? I see. Serena. I see. Now that I think about it, I guess things are all right. What are you going on about right now? Actually, well, on that family vacation recently, I ran into a man I'm destined for. The man you're destined for? The man who I had always had a crush on back in school. He and I ran into one another while I was on vacation with your brother and Kiki. Back in the day, he and I were very close to one another. But just before we could get anywhere, he had to leave town due to his dad's job or something like that. In the end, I was never able to see him again, and things turned out the way they had been for the last 10 years. So, you ran into him again? That's right. And all of this happened because I decided to go on a walk by myself that morning. I just had this feeling like I needed to go somewhere by myself, and meeting with my old crush again was what that feeling was all about. He was out there as well because his family had been staying at a resort there, and so when we ran into one another, we started walking around together and catching up. Isn't that just amazing to you? This really shows that he and I are meant for one another, destined for one another. And while he and I were catching up, he confessed to me that ever since he had to leave with his parents and move away, he had never stopped thinking about me. When those words of love came out of his mouth, I fell right into his arms, and we got a hotel nearby where we spent time together for 4 hours. In that room, we let 10 years of love we had for one another out, and that's where we realized we could not be separated from one another again. Then, after making love to one another, we talked more and more, and I found out that he is now living close to my house, and this is about a 20-minute drive away. So ever since we got back from our vacations, we have been seeing one another a lot. We are both the happiest couple ever. Is that right? Now you can probably see how things have become a bit tough for me recently. My love for my soulmate is never going to die out, and because of that, I need to be with him no matter what anyone else tells me. I want to have a talk with Chase about it, but I haven't really been able to get myself to approach him, so I'm a bit stressed out. Is that right? But why are you able to talk to me about all of that? You were able to find yourself the man of your dreams, right? So you should be able to understand how I feel now after finding the man I've been destined for. The man you're destined for? The reason you had to get a divorce from your ex-husband was due to cheating, right? Yes, that's right. Then when you found your true love, the man you're destined for, you chose to get married to him. But that happened after I found out that my ex had been cheating on me, and I was able to milk him dry of all his money through settlements and child support. What? My current husband, the man you're saying I was destined for, he and I met at the bar that I've been working at for years now after I got divorced. Huh? So you didn't get divorced because you were the one who cheated? Why did you think I was the one who cheated? I heard before that you had always been coming home very late when you were still married to your ex. And you would always try to hide what you'd been doing from everyone, like when you'd go out to eat and such. Oh, so you just assumed I was cheating on him because of that? Just because I was coming home late from work and not talking a whole lot about what I was doing, you thought I was the one who had been cheating? That's a little narrow-minded of you, Heidi. Please do not compare me to other unfaithful people just because I had a different schedule compared to most people. Then why were you always out of the house so late at night? I heard that you were even coming home so late that it was around 5 in the morning before you got home. The kind of work I was doing was a bit different from the normal 9 to 5 most people get to enjoy, which is why my schedule was always very erratic and I was coming home so late in the night. You weren't working a normal 9 to 5 job? Correct. I was working as a detective for the police. You worked as a detective? But I left that job when I became pregnant and then had my daughter. But during the time I had been pregnant, my husband was cheating on me, and that's what led to our divorce. And I'll have you know, I was the one who found out that he had been cheating on me and collected all the evidence to take him to court with. What? Not only was I pregnant at the time, but I was an ex-detective, yet my ex still had the balls to try and cheat on me. He deserved what he got in the end. Then that would mean no way. Just like you're thinking, I've gone and gathered all the evidence I needed of you cheating on my brother. You're joking. And the reason for me texting you today like this? I wanted to talk to you about what's going to happen next now that I have concrete evidence of you cheating. And since you've been completely ignoring Chase this whole time, I was the only person he could rely on to get this show on the road. First, I was just going to try and read you a little bit before telling you about how I know you've been cheating, but instead, you actually assumed that I was the one who had cheated on my ex, and that's what made you think you could just open up to me about cheating on my brother, and then say everything was okay because I should have been able to understand your reasoning for why you did it. Well, thanks to that, I now have you confessing to everything you've done. I really appreciate your carelessness today, Heidi. What the hell?
Heidi? This time you have to be ready to talk with me, right? It has been a month now of you never talking to me and leaving all the chores untouched in the house. Luckily, I had my sister's help through all of this, and with her guidance, I was able to deal with you, always ignoring me and leaving me in charge of everything at home. But now Kiki is crying because she can no longer take having her parents acting this way. We are leaving forever. Goodbye.
What? What do you mean you're leaving forever? Goodbye? Are you taking Kiki too?
This place was being rented by me, so in the near future I will be ending the agreement I made, and you will have to leave this house as well. So I'd get started on packing up your things so that you aren't hit with a fine by the landlord.
Hold on a second. I will confess to having been cheating on you, and I will allow us to get a divorce, but you can't take Kiki away from me. I was planning on getting full custody of her in the divorce and then having you pay child support to me for her next 13 years. Listen to me, Chase. At least give me some kind of a response. Who the hell do you think you are ignoring me?
Right after that, I started to work on the divorce between Heidi and I, and that began with me getting in touch with a lawyer. The man who Heidi had been cheating on me with was also married, which meant that we had to contact his wife about what had been happening as well. And that led to them having a very rough divorce. At least for myself, I was able to get full custody of Kiki, child support from Heidi for the next 13 years, more than half of the properties her and I shared, and a large settlement. Overall, this divorce was a major success for me, and eventually it became a success for that other man's wife as well. When the divorce did happen and Heidi was asked to pay up, she cried that she had never worked a job in her life before, since she was always a housewife to me. And so in order to help her out one last time, my older sister offered her a job working for her husband's company, which is a mining company. It turns out that the man Heidi had been cheating on me with was already working at that company, and so the both of them would now be forced to work together in some of the deepest parts of that mine. They were both picked up by a really old and battered bus that operated with the mine and taken away to the middle of nowhere to start their long journeys of being corrected by very tough and grueling physical labor. Thank you for watching and listening. We hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe. Also, feel free to leave a comment about what you thought of the story. We look forward to seeing you at the next story.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and hit the like button. See you next time.